Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 1746B, and today's date is December 20th, 2018, and the title of the episode is The Clock is Ticking Down. First alarm bell ready. Power return to the people. Before we start, I want to talk about privacy. It has been proven that government agencies, corporations are tracking and spying on us 24/7. Let's take a look at the latest news. Dell resets all customers' passwords after potential security breach. Corporations, governments are tracking. This holiday season, Virtual Shield is offering 35% off all VPN plans and all premium add-ons, including Protection Plus, residential access, monthly maintenance, phone support, and VIP performance plans for as low as $3 per month. And don't forget about IdentiSafe, which allows the customer the ability to block off computer, microphone, and camera access from any unwanted spies and hackers. So check out the link below and start protecting yourself today, because we all have the right to remain private. Let's get into the economic collapse, political and geopolitical news. Now, Q has dropped more bread today, and we'll be going over that in just a minute. But first, I wanted to go back to Google and how yesterday I said that when you type in Hillary Clinton email, that the suggestion part, that is the part that doesn't come up. I'm not talking about the searches. And I think there's a little confusion on what I said here. So when you go to Google and you type in Hillary Clinton EM, just do that. You'll see the drop-down box where it will give you suggestions. And if you notice on Google, it will say Hillary Clinton emoji, Hillary Clinton something else, but it'll never say Hillary Clinton email scandal. If you go to Yahoo, Bing, DuckDuckGo, or any of the other search engines, if you type in Hillary Clinton EM, it will say Hillary Clinton email scandal, Hillary Clinton email, whatever. They give you those suggestions. For some reason, Google doesn't do it. So what I was saying is that they must have manipulated this somehow so that doesn't show up. So people don't think like, wait a minute, there's a scandal going on. And I believe they're trying to, sway people away from that. That's what I was saying yesterday. Now, very interestingly, the mainstream media, they just got hit really, really hard, especially CNN. A reporter at the German news magazine Der Spiegel, who won CNN Journalist of the Year award in 2014, well, it looks like he had to resign on Wednesday after admitting he made up some stories. Now, this is Klaus Rolitius. He falsified articles on a grand scale and even invented characters. And yes, he is the person that won CNN's Journalist of the Year award in 2014. And many of the articles that he wrote were completely fake, phony, and false. I wonder why Trump calls them the fake news. I wonder if we look at a lot of their stories, how many are completely made up or were fed to them by the intelligence agencies to make us believe something was happening when something else was really happening and it was really fake news. I bet we would find quite a bit. It looks like there was a lawsuit against BuzzFeed, and it reveals that McCain's associate provided the Steele dossier. Now, a federal judge ruled in favor of BuzzFeed after it had been sued for defamation following its publication of the Steele dossier on January 10, 2017. Contained within this ruling were a significant number of details related to the Steele dossier and its dissemination, including some previously unknown information relating to activities on the part of David Kramer and longtime associate of late Senator John McCain, along with disclosure of number of individuals who received copies of Steele's final report. The Steele dossier is actually a collection of about 17 reports that former MI6 agent Christopher Steele wrote between June 20th, 2016 and December 13th, 2016. According to the court ruling, Steele provided his final memo, Report 166, to Kramer, an unnamed British security official, senior director for Russian Affairs at the National Security Council, Celeste Wallander, Representative Adam Kissinger, and House Speaker Paul Ryan's Chief of Staff, John Birx. The ruling states that the record does not reveal what, if anything, these people did with the report. The disclosure that Steele provided copies of this final memo to Wallander and Kissinger and Ryan's Chief of Staff, Birx, appears to be new information. Birx was appointed as Ryan's Chief of Staff on December 14, 2016, succeeding David Halt, who was leaving to pursue other interests. The Steele's Report 166 must have come into Burke's possession almost immediately after he assumed his new post. McCain, he always said, listen, I had nothing to do with this. He said, I gave it to no one except the director of the FBI. I don't know why you're digging this up. Although the court ruling does not reference McCain, it does say something about Kramer, who provided the dossier to BuzzFeed. It would seem unlikely that Kramer would have taken this action unless McCain maybe instructed him to do so. Now, Kramer testified that Bensinger took photos of the dossier when Kramer was out of the room, even though he asked Bensinger not to. So you can see right now that there were a lot of people involved in this who were pushing this fake dossier, and they were instructed to do so. Believe me, these individuals didn't just do it on their own. Now we see Loretta Lynch. She was questioned for about 6 hours behind closed doors, and she was questioned about her June 2016 tarmac meeting with Bill Clinton at the Phoenix International Airport. And many of the Democrats said there was nothing new here, but the Republicans pointed to her differences with Comey in the Clinton investigation and said there will still be more questions that we would like to ask her. And this is not done because Q has already told us that Loretta Lynch is talking. Now it looks like Jeff Flake, and he is now retiring, and Mitch McConnell, they were trying to push the Mueller protection bill, and it was blocked once again. This is the third time in roughly a month. Why are they pushing this so hard? Because they are panicking like there's no tomorrow. They want him protected. Why do they want Mueller protected? You need to go back to post 2397. Mueller designed to take in evidence needed to expose the deep state. Mueller designed to limit POTUS's ability to maneuver. Mueller designed to safeguard D-Party base false narrative, Russia collusion. Mueller designed to provide fake news with ammunition to sway public opinion, obstruct foreign and domestic agenda, fuel impeachment, removal. Mueller designed to demonstrate to foreign players the old guard still pulls the strings. Mueller designed his public outcry excuse should criminal charges be brought against him. We are being politically attacked because Mueller. Mueller was there as a firewall, a safety net for all these individuals. And guess what? They needed a way to protect him. They didn't need it before because Rod Rosenstein was controlling him, pulling the strings. Rod Rosenstein is no longer doing this. Who is? Matt Whitaker. And guess what? Whitaker is cleared to take over the Mueller probe. They tried to stop this. We know there were certain individuals that were suing, trying to get Whitaker out of his position, and this was Blumenthal and many others, and it didn't work. Whitaker appeared before the Ethics Committee, and they cleared him to take over the Mueller probe. He does not have to recuse himself. And Q has told us this back in post 2455. Coming out of Reuters, top Senate Democrat Schumer, Whitaker should recuse himself from Russian probe. Q says there will be no recusal. Panic in D.C. And guess what? It has come true. We see Trump is pushing the wall like there's no tomorrow. He's saying he's not going to sign any stopgap funding bill. He's not going to do anything unless the wall is included. He was promised the wall. So he called in Paul Ryan, Kevin McCarthy, Mark Meadows, Jim Jordan, and they all went to the White House. And Trump tweeted out the following. When I begrudgingly signed the omnibus bill, I was promised the wall and border security by leadership would be done by end of year now. And that's in all caps and parentheses. It didn't happen. We foolishly fight for the border security for other countries, but not for our beloved USA. Not good. With so much talk about the wall, people are losing sight of the great job being done on our southern border by Border Patrol, ICE, and our great military. Remember the caravans? Well, they didn't get through, and none are forming or on their way. Border is tight. Fake news, silent. The Democrats, who know steel slats wall are necessary for border security, are putting politics over country. What they are just beginning to realize is that I will not sign any of the legislation, including infrastructure, unless it has perfect border security. USA wins. Now, Mark Meadows, he is pushing this and saying, yes, we must support Trump in this. We must go ahead and support him with this wall. Representative Andy Biggs spoke after Meadows and said, securing the border is a fundamental constitutional duty of our federal government. So what is Trump going to do? Well, Annans know. We know that the military most likely will build the wall along the southern border. Because of the tremendous danger at the border, including large-scale criminal and drug inflow, the United States military will build the wall. That's coming from Trump. The Pentagon has backed Trump, acknowledging there is a legal option to use military funds for border barriers, although also saying there is no plan in place to do so. Just because there's not a plan in place where they've given the media and everyone else doesn't mean there's not one in the background. And you know there's always plans in the background. Today, the Department of Homeland Security Chief Kirstjen Nielsen told lawmakers that migrants heading to the southwest border to seek asylum in the United States will have to wait in Mexico until their claims are processed under an agreement between the two countries. So they don't have to be here in the United States. They can wait in Mexico until all the processing is done. Patriots are in total control, and the wall will be built. And remember, the wall is to keep out the deep state operation. Remember, they're the ones who are bringing in drugs. They're the ones who are gun running. They're the ones who are using human trafficking and bringing it over the borders and back and forth. The wall is going to make this very, very difficult for them. And yes, with the illegals, they have many other agendas. Now we see the troops, they'll be coming home and they're going to be leaving Syria. We knew this was part of the plan. Trump tweeted out a couple of things here. Getting out of Syria was no surprise. I've been campaigning on it for years, and 6 months ago, when I very publicly wanted to do it, I agreed to stay longer. Russia, Iran, Syria, and others are the local enemy of ISIS. We were doing their work. Time to come home and rebuild. Does the USA want to be the policeman of the Middle East, getting nothing but spending precious lives and trillions of dollars protecting others who, in almost all cases, do not appreciate what we are doing? Do we want to be there forever? Time for others to finally fight. Russia, Iran, Syria, and many others are not happy about the U.S. leaving. Actually, Russia, Iran, Syria, they're all happy that the United States is leaving. Who's not happy? The coalition forces. They're the ones who aren't actually happy. Despite what the fake news says, because now they will have to fight ISIS and others. ISIS is almost gone. I am building by far the most powerful military in the world. ISIS hits us, they are doomed.
We've been fighting for a long time in Syria. I've been president for almost 2 years, and we've really stepped it up. And we have won against ISIS. We've beaten them, and we've beaten them badly. We've taken back the land, and now it's time for our troops to come back home. I get very saddened when I have to write letters or call parents or wives or husbands of soldiers who have been killed fighting for our country. It's a great honor. We cherish them, but it's heartbreaking. There's no question about it. It's heartbreaking. Now we've won. It's time to come back. They're getting ready. You're going to see them soon. These are great American heroes. These are great heroes of the world because they fought for us. But they've killed ISIS, who hurts the world. And we're proud to have done it. And I'll tell you, they're up there looking down on us. And there is nobody happier or more proud of their families to put them in a position where they've done such good for so many people. So our boys, our young women, our men, they're all coming back. And they're coming back now. We won. And that's the way we want it. And that's the way they want it.
Now, what is happening here is that Trump is removing troops from Syria. Eventually what's going to happen is going to happen in Iraq, because the Iraqi government there does not want the troops, so they're going to be moving the troops out of this area. And just because the news and Trump is saying 2,000 military soldiers in Syria, it doesn't mean that's all that's there. I don't think they're going to expand on how many actually are there, because temporary soldiers, they don't count as full-time soldiers there, so they really don't count them. And remember, the military was moving back and forth between Syria and Iraq, so many of them probably moved out of Syria already back into Iraq, and they're just using the number of 2,000 because that was that number was put out before. But we know from other reports that in Iraq there were 10, 20, 30,000 temporary soldiers in these areas, and most likely a lot of them flowed into Syria, and they don't count temporary as the count when they're counting the number of soldiers there. So we can see that all of this is happening, and this is going to hurt the deep state in many different areas. They have never reached their goal by capturing the entire Middle East, because remember, their goal was to go into Syria and then eventually take over Iran and control the entire area. That's falling apart. Their entire system is falling apart. Once the troops come home, the U.S. is going to end its aerial operations against the Islamic State in Syria. The U.S. is leaving. France is going to remain inside Syria. Why? Because Macron is still part of the deep state. They're still going to try to reach their goal. It's not going to work. Now, Q put out some more bread here. This is post 2626. And it says, and this gave a link to NBC News, and this link is Flynn hearing leaves the far-right's conspiracy theorist wanting. As Mueller's investigation has widened and ensnared more members of Trump's team, conspiracy theories of Trump loyalists have been forced to contort in a variety of ways. Now, everyone thought he was going to this hearing, he was going to get completely off. Remember, Q never said he was going to be exonerated. Q said he was going to be safe. But that's it. But let's read the rest here. Q says the clock is ticking. When will the first alarm ring? What is the alarm clock for? Waking people up. So when will it ring? Well, let's continue. If the Senate was the primary target, majority control 53-47, active when? Well, that's in the new year. When is that? January 3rd, I believe. Executive order. Designated targets. Active when? January 1st. Because what is that executive order? It's the 2018 amendments to the Manual of Court Martials, United States. And when does that come in effect? January 1st, 2019. Let's continue with this. Ongoing investigations. There are a lot of sealed indictments. This is in quotes. This is from Sarah Carter. It's all going to come out. U1 dossier, Clinton Foundation, Sean Hannity. I have pretty good sources. Sean Hannity. I wonder what his sources are. There is a reason why Sean Hannity, Sarah Carter, and John Solomon are on stage. They have the information. And again, the crime against Flynn is not about him lying. The crime is about Mueller and team, Obama, Clinton, and the rest using the FISA against Flynn and using that information which they gathered illegally to entrap him. That is the crime. And remember, Q has always said that Flynn would be safe. What is safe? Protected from or not exposed to danger or risk, not likely to be harmed or lost. Q never said he was going to be exonerated or he was going to be set free. Maybe he will be. Maybe, but we'll have to wait to see. Post 2627 put everything up from post 2626 and says, why does the fake news media continually attack so-called only conspiracy, nothing to see here? Lonely guy behind a keyboard movement. The largest media companies in the world giving so much attention. Washington Post leading the attack. Logical thinking always wins. Have you ever seen so many mainstream media companies attacking a single conspiracy theory like this? Like they're doing with Q? I mean, the Washington Post is leading the attacks. That's clown controlled. Why so many attacks? Because people are waking up and they're panicking. And they want people to believe that this is a conspiracy theory and it's not true. But guess what? It is true. It's not a conspiracy. And this is why they're panicking, because they realize people are getting the real information and more people are waking up. The clock is ticking. When will the first alarm bell ring? Well, that's going to wake up a lot of people. Carpet bombs, remember. Post 2628 put up a YouTube video, and this is about Trump, where he says he's going to drain the swamp, which he's doing. This is in the process right now. And this is always a good video to watch. If you want to see it, you can come to the site, or you can just go on YouTube and search, this video is going to get Trump elected. Q says, this is not another 4-year election. Listen very carefully. Power returned to the people. Long-term solutions. Panic. This is not about 4 years. Because if 4 years come and go and Trump is moved out of office and someone else comes in like Clinton or somebody else, it's all over. All that work that has been done comes to a screeching halt. So this is not about an election or the 4 years. This is about waking the people up and taking back the country. We're at a crossroads. Now, the quote from Morpheus comes to mind, and this is what he said to Neo. I'm trying to free your mind, Neo, but I can only show you the door. You're the one that has to walk through it. Q, Trump, the Patriots are freeing people's minds. They are showing them the door, but they need to choose to walk through it to take back their country. So Q, the Patriots, they're showing everyone the truth. Once they see the truth, they'll have to make the decision on their own. Yes, in the beginning, they'll be angry. Remember Neo? If you never watched The Matrix, watch The Matrix. When he learned the truth, they call it popping. He threw up and he couldn't handle it because that wasn't the world he was living in. When he learned the truth, he popped. People will get angry. Then he wanted to know more. People are going to do research to figure out what is true, what is not true. People are going to start to realize what is true. At that point, they will make the decision to walk through the door. Just like Neo made the decision to walk through the door. Does it happen in a day? Does it happen in a week? No. This is what this whole buildup has been about. Waking the people up. Showing them bits and pieces of information. Keeping this out in the news any way they possibly can. Keeping the Clinton Foundation name out in the news. Showing that something underhanded was taking place. Showing the public what is going on. Because once the mother of all bombs hits, guess what? People will be prepped to accept what is coming. Post 2629. Q puts up D in brackets bold, which is kill brackets. D-Day, Patriots. We will have our country back. And this is from Q+, which is the president. So the president speaks and he says, D-Day, Patriots. Well, D is Dems, so that's in the kill brackets. D-Day traditionally means a day set for launching an operation. World War II on June 6, 1944, the Allied forces began the invasion of France in that war. And when is this date going to be? Well, Q is giving us some clues that January 1st, 2019 is the executive order that comes online. The Senate comes into power January 3rd, I believe, when they're sworn in. And that D-Day could be any day after that. They need everything in place. And you can see by the message of Q that once all this comes out, the people are going to have to decide, do you want the country back? And this is why this is why Trump and the Patriots who have been doing this have been showing everyone all this information to give everyone the facts, the truth, to show everyone what has really been going on. And this is why the deep state has been fighting back. This is why they're saying it's a conspiracy theory. This is why they've been saying it's not true. This is why they've been using projection to try to stop what is coming. But nothing can stop what is coming. The first alarm bell is ready to ring. People are going to wake up. As more and more people wake up, the deep state loses control. As more and more people wake up, the deep state will not be able to do anything. As more and more people wake up, the people are going to be pointing fingers at certain individuals, at the central bank, at the treasonous government officials. And once that happens, it is game over. The mainstream media and everyone else will not be able to do anything to stop this. So get ready. The new year is going to change everything. The people are going to be taking back their country. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.